This is part five in the Civil War. First of all, we're going to look at some major battles that are taking place really in the midpoint of this war. The first one is the Battle of Fredericksburg. It occurs in December of 1862 and is led by General Ambrose Burnside. He's attacking Fredericksburg, Virginia, and Robert E. Lee is very much going to dominate this battle. It was a very reckless attack by the Union. They were marching uphill into a very easily defended area by the South. There's about 12,000 Union casualties compared to the Confederacy's 5,000 casualties at this time. So, again, this is another Confederate victory in the eastern part of this war. Now, Chancellorsville is going to occur only a couple months after this, and it's located very close to the same area. Now, the result is the same. It's another Confederate victory and over 30,000 total casualties, but really the biggest defeat is going to be that the Confederate general Stonewall Jackson is going to be wounded by his own men, and he's going to die 8 days later. And upon hearing Jackson's death, General Robert E. Lee reportedly stated, "I have lost my right arm." And this is a huge moment for the South, a huge loss for them. Now, two major battles are going to end roughly within the same week. The first one being the siege and battle of Vicksburg, Mississippi. Vicksburg, Mississippi is located right in the middle of the Mississippi River area. Ulysses S. Grant is going to lay siege on this fortified city in Vicksburg. And on July 4th, the Confederates are going to surrender. And really, the importance of this is this victory meant the Union controlled the entire Mississippi River finally for the first time and isolated Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas from the rest of the Confederacy. In total, there's about 30,000 casualties. Most of them are going to be captured Confederate soldiers. Now, the Battle of Gettysburg is going to be going on in the exact same time as the Siege of Vicksburg. The Battle of Gettysburg is going to be really the turning point of this entire war. Lee is going to surprise the North and take his army to Northern Territory in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The Union victory, however, is going to lead to a Lee retreat and 50,000 casualties. And really, the significance is that Lee is never going to go on the offensive again. The major part of this battle occurs on the third day, where General George Pickett is going to lead 15,000 Confederate soldiers in a charge against the Union center line at Cemetery Ridge. He is going to be thwarted and defeated, but this tactic is not as crazy as it sounds. Many times, the Confederate Army had successfully used the large scale charges before and broken through the Union lines and helped win a battle, but this one just does not occur. However, Union soldiers held their ground and resulted in a disaster of about 7,000 Confederate casualties during Pickett's charge. Now, during this war, over 400,000 Union and Confederate soldiers were captured by enemy forces and would become prisoners of war. Some would be prisoners of war for a very long time, others for not very long at all. Both sides would routinely negotiate prisoners of exchanges, and thousands would die while being held as prisoners. And some of the worst prison camps were located in Andersonville, Georgia, and Elmira, New York. Now, a couple more important battles we need to discuss is the Battle of Chickamauga, which is September of 1863. Located in northwest Georgia, the Confederate Army forced the Union Army to retreat to Chattanooga, Tennessee. And this major battle in the West caused over 34,000 casualties at this time. This leads to the Battle of Chattanooga in November of 1863. The location was Lookout Mountain in Missionary Ridge, Tennessee, and Union forces defeated the Confederates and pushed them back into Georgia. Over 11,000 casualties are going to occur and leads to the North being able to push into the Deep South. The battles of Wilderness and Spotsylvania, part of the Overland Campaign that Ulysses S. Grant is going to use. Now, he has been promoted to the Army of Potomac. He is in the eastern part of the war for the first time. Within 6 weeks, there's going to be major battles that are going to occur within 100 miles of Richmond, Virginia. And this location of Spotsylvania, Virginia is going to have no clear winner, and over 59,000 total casualties occurred. Also, part of the Overland Campaign was the Battle of Cold Harbor, located in Hanover County, Virginia. Again, this is another Confederate victory, but the casualties are starting to add up to the South, and this is going to be a huge problem for the South because they just don't have the army to continue to take these losses. Now, the weapons of the Civil War are going to be very revolutionary at this time. Most soldiers were issued a rifle or musket with a bayonet. Officers were often carried swords and small arms like a revolver, much like you see over here to the right. Um, Small arms would be consisted of these muskets and rifles, the Spencer carbine, the Sharps carbine, but we also see the revolvers, the Colt and Remington during these times. Now, not only is the weapon going to be revolutionized, but the actual ammunition is going to be revolutionary as well. The mini bullets were going to be created in 1848, and these bullets improved the range and accuracy the guns used during the Civil War. They easily penetrated the body and shattered bones, increasing the need for amputation during this time. So here is a picture of the mini balls at that time, and they're going to look much like a end of a football, and they're going to cut through the air much better. We also start to see our first real machine guns. The Gatling gun is going to be designed by Dr. Richard Gatling in 1861. This rapid fire hand cranked gun is going to be first used in combat by the Union Army. It could shoot about 200 rounds of bullets in 1 minute and really is the predecessor to the machine gun. And there is a picture of the Gatling gun itself. We also have the long and short range artillery. You might call these cannons, but at the time of the Civil War, they were called guns or mortars. Their purpose was to fire projectiles to inflict damage on structures of enemy soldiers. And the size and the shape of the gun determined the range of projectiles that they could shoot. And here you can see the Union battery gun at the time. And here is the damage that it could occur. Some artillery shots were one solid ball to blast holes in structures, while others were masses of solid balls packed into designed to inflict maximum damage. So basically, a bunch of miniature balls put into a canister. Shrapnel shells were also used when these exploded. Smaller pieces of metal flew out and hit surrounding soldiers. So again, artillery could be used as devastating tools to destroy buildings, but also used to wound huge amounts of soldiers all at once. Thank you for part 5. My next one is the last one, what we will do.